Remember how we said we started this podcast to spite our enemies? Well, today's the day we really get that ball rolling. In this bleep-filled Bagel Bite, we're saying loser, loser with a twist, whatever, kiss this to our middle school bullies as we talk about shame, embarrassment, Myspace, and the importance of nurturing your weirdness. Plus, Kristin shares the situations in which she would cyberbully someone, Grace's guidance counselor turns her into a justified bully, and we both make a call out for your best, worst coming-of-age stories and juiciest middle school scandals. Just remember to keep that trauma light and easy, breezy, beautiful, cover girl.
They said that we'd grow out of it. Well, the joke's on them, that's just our brains. We're eccentric, loud, and stubborn, and most of our clothing is covered in stains. It's not a deficit of attention, there's just too much to think about. So if executive dysfunction becomes a little too much, if you forgot why you came in this room, or you're hypersensitive to touch, then put on your seamless socks and come join our little flock. Bitches stimming together, we're weirds of a feather, weirds of a feather.
Number 11. You'll love number 11. Where movies and magic come together. You'll love number 11. For the best seat around. You'll love number 11. Cha-cha-cha. It's just a little fun take on the Cinemagic song about how this is Bagel Bite number 11.
Bagel Bite number 11. Loved it. That was great.
Yeah.
Today we have a fun subject to talk about on our Bagel Bite.
Yep. And before that, we're going to just real quick introduce the podcast and say that we are Weirds of a Feather.
That's right.
AuDHD-Adjacent podcast. I'm your host, Grace.
I'm your host, Kristin, who should have known better since we've been doing this for over a year.
But you know what? You'll learn. At one point, you'll learn. Maybe. How about I just make sure it happens?
Yeah, that's great.
I can be the Ben Kissel. I think that's his role. I think I've figured it out finally. I think his role
on
is
last
to
podcast on the left.
Introduce the podcast and then wrap it up at the end.
That's
just
it's a little harsh. I think
I'm just kidding, Ben. I think you're hilarious. I do. I legitimately laugh out loud.
I think when he
funny.
lands his jokes, they're hilarious, and when he doesn't, they're also funny.
Yes, yes. And honestly, in a good way, it reminds me a little bit of you.
What?
Where not in the all you do is introduce the podcast, because you don't even do that. But more in the sense that I feel like you do the long pause after you've said something that
waiting for the claps.
Is ridiculous, and then sit in silence. And I think that silence played back is very funny. And I think you and Ben both do it very well. You'll drop something just absolutely absurd where it's like, I have no words. I don't know.
Just waiting for the response.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Yeah. You're the wild card.
Yeah.
You types are the wild card.
And I don't introduce the podcast. It's Bagel Bite number 11. This is Weirds of a Feather.
I already did it. I gotcha.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah. I'll just make sure it happens.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
Today, we're talking about embarrassment and shame. Woot woot! Woohoo! So excited.
Booms, and booms,
shame.
Booms. My favorite topic. Well, we're mostly talking about embarrassment.
Embarrassment. Shame, I think, is necessary. Embarrassment is not necessary.
No, it's the other way around.
You need shame.
Well,
you should be shameful of
No, you don't need shame.
If you murder someone, you should be shameful of that.
I think if we're going to use like grandiose situations, then yeah, I do think some shame. Yes. Like for men who send unwarranted dick pics or show people their penises against their will, they should be shamed.
Yeah.
Like I agree with that. But I think on an everyday basis of just like going through life,
yes,
I think shame is really unhealthy and bad for us and rots our bodies and our brains and our souls.
Yes. I think in the context that we're about to talk about it, it's unnecessary.
Yes, especially like social shame.
Yeah.
You know.
But I think on a grander scale with like major crimes, maybe you should be shameful about the crimes you committed.
Yeah, but we're not talking about major crimes.
Nope.
We are talking about being embarrassed. And mostly it'll all probably tie back to middle school.
Yeah.
I
so,
suspect.
So
get ready to relive some trauma.
Yeah, I was just about to say, should we do a content warning here? Middle school trauma.
Yeah, just kind of joking about our general memories of being bullied, I guess.
Bullied.
I mean, nothing too bad. I was never physically bullied.
Yeah, and we were before the age that like cyberbullying really took off.
Thank God.
Like, could you imagine having Snapchat as like a child?
No, it's a nightmare.
That sounds terrible.
Instagram, TikTok.
No.
God.
I wouldn't even, if I had TikTok in high school, I would not have graduated. Yeah. There's no way I would have gotten anything done. I don't know how kids have it harder these days.
Absolutely they do. Also, someone made a fake Myspace of me back in high school. They made a fake profile of me.
Well, maybe they're just jealous.
Yeah, I bet you are, haters.
Did you ever figure out who it was?
I said that. I suspect it was Brody Cullenberg.
Fuck that guy.
I'm calling you out, Brody. I think it was you who made this fake Myspace of me.
So Brody, listen to me. That's super creepy.
Yeah, fuck you, Brody.
Get your own Myspace.
He works.
They're for free.
Yeah, they're for free. Get a life. Right? Get a Myspace and get a life. Whatever, kiss this. Loser with a twist. Anyway.
I guess my question, where's he going with that? He's like, now I can be a Grace.
I think he was doing it to taunt me, like to bully me. Not like, kind of like, to like fuck with me, which like, you know,
I guess, if you're in middle school,
semi-bullying, high school.
Because he was a bully.
Also, did you know got kicked out of college for bullying a girl? It's my favorite
You mean our
fact.
Sworn enemy?
No, her sister.
Oh.
I mean, her cousin. Her cousin was a witch. She was kicked out of college for bullying a girl. Like, I think cyberbullying. Like, making a fake profile and shit.
This is another thing.
Isn't that wild?
That's just like wild to me that people do is cyberbullying. And well, we were just actually earlier before we started recording, we were talking about people stealing lunches out of the break room.
Oh, I can't even get into this. I will rant. It's never even happened to me. It's never happened to me.
But that's like, okay, so cyberbullying, I know it happens every day. Cyberbullying and catfishing and stealing people's lunches out of the break room is like one of those things that it baffles my mind that people do this, because it is so just like, you're gonna take the time to do it and like follow through to let it just, I don't know, I just feel like it doesn't even fit into my mind that is a possibility that I could do, because I'm just like,
trying to make it through the day.
Yeah,
I'm not like making fake profiles.
Yeah.
Oh, you're like make a fake email address and then like make a fake AOL like account.
Here's the thing. I think the only way I could cyberbully someone is if they had seriously wronged a personal friend of mine. That was a big pop. I'm very sorry.
That's okay. And then you would cyberbully them?
I mean, I'd probably go to other options, because cyberbullying, I feel like, you know, that's a lot of upkeep.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. You know,
whereas like a key to a tire, you know, gets the job done. It's easy.
You think you could pop a tire with a key?
No, I don't know why I said a key. I meant
you're gonna say key to the car, knife to the tire.
Car keys or knife in tire.
Yeah,
but take the knife out because you don't want to leave fingerprints.
Actually, speaking of Brody Cullenberg.
Due to the sensitive nature and legal implications of this story, I have advised my clients that they are not to play another second of it on the podcast. Hi, I'm Jessica Campleshire.
And I'm her sons.
If you've accidentally overshared the details of a secret small-time scandal on a podcast because you're impulsive and love to gossip and now you're worried about a defamation lawsuit, come and see us down at the pod offices of Campleshire & Sons. You may not have any legal ground to stand on, but as I always say, the law is subjective and fluid, and it changes like the tides. So let us be your little red king crabs, and we'll get you out of that tight jam faster than Uncle Jerry running from an alimony payment.
And that boy can run.
And that's the theme of our show. Let's talk about it. Slashing tires.
Let's talk about embarrassment. Let's get back on track. I don't know how much of that I'm going to cut out. Some of it.
We should probably cut out about, you know, giving people advice on crimes.
No, I'll probably leave that part in. It was more like the specific stuff towards the end about the slashing of the tires. Probably cut that out. But the rest I'll probably leave in because I think it's funny that got kicked out of college, and I think I'm just going to leave it in and bleep her name, and I think that's funny.
That is
and
really
she
funny.
deserves it, and then some.
Yeah. It's really hard to get kicked out of college for bullying.
Right? So, like,
fraternities do it every day.
Get a life. Like, how lame are you? Yeah, you couldn't even join a sorority and, like, bully people that way by, like, being a bitch.
There's so many other ways to bully people, like, legally in college.
Yeah, you could have hazed them. You could have, like, done well in class and then, like, rubbed it in someone's face. Lots of cool, fun ways like that to bully people.
Yeah.
Cyberbullying. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just the generation we grew up in.
I guess
because cyberbullying in our generation was like
a new
literally
thing.
Like AIM.
Yeah,
it's like I remember a couple times where someone would make like a fake screen name and like message me.
I was
on
oblivious to all of this.
I was like low key bullied different times. I feel like growing up.
I don't
like weird things like that where I would be like, I don't even know who's bullying me, and what if this is like. You're just kind of like half joking, or if you're straight up like really being mean to me.
I guess
it was
my
always
goal
so vague with cyberbullying.
Was to be like super non-confrontational.
Yeah, like Buster Bluth, where you just go down into a rock.
That's my goal.
Yeah, curl up in a ball.
Yep. Please don't hurt me.
Yeah.
Help me.
All right, so I wanted to, I was going to say start this conversation, but this
We've
conversation was started long ago, and you guys are just tuning into it. I came upon this TikToker, her handle is at drawincircles.co. Her name is Ileana, and she's an embarrassment coach.
Which I didn't know was a thing.
I didn't either. I'd never heard of that before.
I want to be coached.
I thought you were going to say, I want to be a coach. I'm like, you're not qualified.
No, I'm definitely, I need therapy.
Yes, I need this coaching.
I need the coaching.
Yes, because she said that, I mean, it seems like something that she kind of like invented of this embarrassment coach, because she said a little while back, she realized that embarrassment was what was holding her back from like going after things, which makes so much sense because, you know, like I can't believe we started this podcast because we do get embarrassed by certain things. And I tend to find myself embarrassing, or I used to find myself more embarrassing. This podcast helps me at least embrace like my motto, you can't be embarrassed if you're not embarrassed.
Yeah,
it's like,
please see the episode on ADHD for Smartass Women where Grace was the guest.
Yes.
And she said you can't be embarrassed if you're not embarrassed.
Yeah, and
that's a great quote. I have it written down in my diary.
In my heart.
In my heart, yeah. I don't have a diary. It's too much work.
Yeah, a lot of upkeep. But yeah, so she said that once she realized that, she started working on her embarrassment and kind of taking that attitude of like, I just wanted to like summarize what she said real quick about embarrassment because I thought this was a really cool take. And this is kind of like our thing of like embracing your weird and being okay with being weird and different.
Yeah.
So she says that embarrassment is another way to control you and to tell you who you should be, what you should like, what you should do. And embarrassment happens when you think that what you just did doesn't meet a societal standard. And in that, you are valuing others' opinions way more than you're valuing your own.
Oh.
Which is like, duh, that's genius. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you're kind of feeling like you're not behaving in a certain way that others would find acceptable. And like, fuck that noise. That's so lame to like want to do things in a way that people will be like, oh yes, I approve.
It's very like pro-establishment. Like,
yeah,
I think being unembarrassed is very like sticking it to the man. I don't give a shit. Also, quick side note.
Yes.
I am not embarrassed that all our references today are from TikTok accounts.
Oh, yeah. I'm not embarrassed either.
Nope. We'll link them below in the show notes.
Yes, because they really are incredible.
Yeah. So, anyway, going back, it's very like anti-establishment, but it should be.
Yeah, because it's a way to like control how you behave, and that if you fall out of line, if you go outside of this norm of how you act in public or what you talk about at fancy parties or whatever the fuck it is, if you don't fit into this little shape of control, then they'll like shame you for it. It's like, no. And that I feel like thinking of embarrassment that way is probably honestly the best way that I'm gonna like get out of being embarrassed by things, you know? Because if I think of it as like I'm sticking it to the man by doing this quote unquote embarrassing thing and not feeling embarrassed, like how freeing is that?
It's so freeing.
And I feel like I need to think of it that way in order to get out of, because I definitely do have a lot of, you know, internalized shame around my social behaviors. And so I definitely
Your
do still have that.
disability, which I'm just noticing.
No, I'm
that
not embarrassed by
you
that.
shouldn't be embarrassed, but you do have a little mirror on your
Yeah, I
shirt.
got a little dribble.
Per you, at least
It's
you're
always-
consistent.
It's always there. You know, you can always count on that little dribble being on my shirt in between my boobs.
There you go.
What else did she say? Oh, so she teaches women how to embrace your embarrassment and overcome it. And she uses this I like it principle as like an example of what she teaches people. So if someone says like, that's embarrassing, you say, or they say like, that's cringe, you say, I like it, which is so simple. And it's such a good way to like stand up for yourself and be like, I like it, you know, I stand
and then
by
they should
it.
be embarrassed by even considering the fact that that's something that to be considered.
And they probably will be embarrassed because they'll be like, am I wrong?
Am I in the wrong?
And yes, you are in the wrong.
You are in the wrong. Don't judge people. Yeah, I think a lot of like embarrassment, especially in women, all comes down to like, dare I say, the patriarchy of like what's appropriate to wear, what's appropriate, how you should look, how you should dress, how you should act. Like women should be, you know, what roles they should play in a household. Like, you know, the man is the breadwinner, the woman does this, and you should look a certain way and dress a certain way and act a certain way, which is very like, what is the word?
White supremacy?
Yeah, well, white supremacy, but you should act very like quiet and unassuming,
Demure.
I guess. Demure, yes.
Well, yeah, we're easier to control that way.
Yeah, thank you very much, because that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, so because we're easier to control, and that's what the patriarchy, the white supremacists, the capitalists, that's what they want. They want to control you. So I think especially with women, embarrassment is almost this tool by the patriarchy to control you.
That's a good way to put it.
You know, there's all these rules like, you know, wear makeup, but not too much, you know.
Don't look like a whore.
Don't look like a whore.
And be sexy for us, but not too
be
sexy.
And you're always supposed to be nice and kind, and don't forget to smile. Whereas men are just like these fucking slobs just looking ridiculous running around here.
I agree. Going out to a night on the town in sweatpants and then getting in a fight with your girlfriend when you aren't let into a club.
Yeah, because you look like a
because
slob.
you're wearing sweatpants.
Right.
All right, back on track, Kristin. I'm just kidding. It's both of us. Yeah. So, anyways, to wrap up her whole thing, Ileana's, she just works on teaching women, especially, that you're allowed to be who you want to be, and that letting go of that embarrassment can be very freeing, because it's a way to like step outside the rules, you know, the control. Same with, you know, letting go of like dieting and fitting that societal standard of like thinness, and therefore whiteness, which once again based in white supremacy. Anyways, it's very liberating when you can kind of let go of those old mindsets about how you should look and how you should think about exercise, how you should think about food and restriction and blah, blah, blah. It's very freeing to be like, that's a form of control. And look at me, I've stepped outside of that.
There you go.
And I feel like embarrassment is the same way. And I like thinking about it that way. I'm going to work on that.
Yeah.
Being even less embarrassed to be myself than I am already.
I'm very proud of you. I will also work on that. I think I have a lot to work on, but I'll add it to the list.
Yep, put it on the list. I think a part of that also, just like with most things, is that to work on not only your own embarrassment, but also working on you thinking that other things are embarrassing, because it's, you know, on the reverse side,
right? The
more you think that people's social behavior is embarrassing, the more you're showing that those are things that you feel like you also can't do. And therefore, they're things that you're going to get embarrassed about.
Right.
So the more you can work on looking at people's behaviors from an external source and not judging it as embarrassing, you'll feel more, you know, comfortable trying it yourself.
Yeah.
And maybe people won't think it's embarrassing, you know?
And if you want to go to a place where you see all sorts of behaviors and everything's just like taken with a grain of salt, you should join the world of healthcare, where everybody acts like there's all sorts of people there. People who are like nice and kind, and people who will yell and spit in your face, and everything's acceptable because you can't fight back, and that's fine. Anyway,
yep. Oh, and then the other TikTok I wanted to mention before we kind of talk about our own experiences with embarrassment is this other TikToker at House Purity, Puritty. This will all be in the show notes, by the way. But her name is Dr. Chandler Purity. I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry. But she is an intersectional climate scientist / mystic.
What?
And she has this amazing TikTok.
She sounds super cool.
She is very cool. You should all go follow her and check her out. Very interesting. Yeah, I really enjoy her content. And this one especially really grabbed me. I thought it was so cool. She made this TikTok about how being weird is adding to the societal biodiversity. Because she talks about how the healthiest ecosystems have the highest levels of biodiversity.
Sure.
Like different species of plant. And so then if you think about it in terms of our human ecosystems, we weirdos are the biodiversity, like the people who fall kind of outside that strict structure of how you should behave and what you should be like.
Right.
And so she says that we are the societal biodiversity by being weirdos, and we are an endangered species that need to be protected because we play a unique role in our society.
Huh.
And I thought that was so touching and so accurate and such a cool way to think about it. And I love this idea that me and you, Kristin, we are adding to the societal biodiversity by not just being weird ourselves, but creating this group of people who also are feeling more and more comfortable.
Community.
Yeah, being their weird selves. And so I love that. We're like little farmers.
My God, it's Stardew Valley in real life with personalities.
Oh, what characters are we? Maybe someone could draw us as little Stardew Valley characters.
Ooh, I want to wear overalls.
I would also like to wear overalls.
We can have matching overalls.
Okay. Put us in matching overalls, please.
And straw hats, please.
Yeah, I'll take a straw hat.
Yep.
I don't really know
We're
what
going to look like
are.
the same character, but that's okay.
Put me in a different hat. And different colored overalls, maybe.
Fedora.
No. Different hat than that.
A top hat.
Maybe.
A fun hat.
Yeah, put me in a really fun hat. Or maybe
a wizard's hat?
Maybe a stack of caps, like that book.
Oh,
or the man who sells the caps book. What is that? Caps for Sale.
Caps for Sale.
I love that book.
Oh, yeah. That one always
put me in a stack of caps.
It was a stressful book. He lost all his caps.
Yeah.
To the monkeys, right?
Oh, yeah. They all take his caps.
Oh, man. I remember the first time someone read that book to me and I was like, oh, man, this guy is in a financial predicament.
See, I love that book.
I
thought it was whimsical.
I thought it was a great book. I was stressed for him, it's like a whole day's, he's going to feed a family, right?
Yeah, he's definitely got
those
a family.
monkeys, those bitches
Gotta
just
get
went
food on the table.
bullied him and stole his hats.
Children will go hungry.
Right, yeah. They didn't even think about the repercussions of their actions.
And meanwhile, what are you going to do with those hats, huh?
Yeah. It's way too many hats for a monkey.
You don't need that many caps.
One cap is enough.
One cap is enough. All right. Yeah.
We're going to take a poll. How stressed were you when you were reading Caps for Sale? On a scale of 1 to 10.
Yep.
10 being as stressed as you've ever been.
And 1 is like, oh, this silly man. He'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm having fun. I'm not thinking about real life repercussions.
I was like a 6.
I was probably a 2.
Yeah.
I'm sure I was a little flustered.
And that's why we're different.
That is why we're different.
You gotta have a strife in a book,
Yeah. You need a little conflict.
Yes.
To
conflict.
overcome.
That's what.
Strife is a good word.
I have words.
You do have words. You got words in there.
They're just a little jumbled, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Check out those 2 TikToks. They'll be in our show notes.
In the show notes. And you might be wondering, how does this relate to ADHD? Well, it does because,
we're embarrassing.
We're embarrassing, as in
apparently
our behavior is a little bit different from a neurotypical's. We do many things that may be different from the quote unquote norm.
Just a little quirky.
Well, and that's like why we made the whole podcast. Like, I'm so quirky. That's like a whole segment based on this, right? And so things that we might do would be like different speech patterns. Like Grace and I are always interrupting each other. And some people may find that rude, but that's just how we speak. We might change like the volume of our voice.
Yep.
The whole recreational arguing is actually something that continues to get us in trouble.
Oh, Kristin and I bully men in bars all the time.
Yeah, that's actually like real arguing though.
Oh, and one time a woman a pregnant woman.
She was being a bitch, though.
She was
I don't
being
care
a
how
bitch.
pregnant you are. You don't need to be a bitch.
Yeah.
She like interjected herself in the conversation and was really rude.
Yeah.
And then all of her little guy friends were really rude. And they tried to like grab us to dance with us. And they tried to drink your drink.
That's
and
right.
then they got kicked out of the bar for using someone else's tab. So I don't feel bad for yelling at a pregnant lady.
Oh, I don't either.
I'm not embarrassed or ashamed.
We'll tell that story.
That's
we'll tell the whole story
That's a
another
Patreon
time.
story for a
Yes,
different
yes.
day. Yeah.
Good idea.
Anyway. So yeah, maybe our speech patterns are a little bit different. Maybe we interrupt. Maybe we communicate. One thing I see a lot on TikTok is people talking about who are neurodivergent, talking about how to convey emotion or empathy or like this kind of like brothership.
Yes.
I guess, to like kind of convey feels back to them. They'll tell a relatable story about themselves, saying it as a way to say like, I see how you feel. Here's a story that relates to that. And in the neurotypical world, that is seen as being like conceited.
Yeah, like you're making it all about you.
all about you. Yeah, exactly. So it's our speech patterns are different. Our interests can be different, or the way we go about our interests. Like some people have hobbies, and then you have people with ADHD who have fucking hobbies. And then they info dump, and then next week they're on to the next thing. It's different. And info dumping's another whole thing. Like not everybody wants to hear about this one thing that you have to share,
but they're gonna.
So for all of these reasons, this may cause like some bullying or some social pressure and embarrassment, towards people with neurodivergencies.
Yeah. I don't like thinking of it like we have like poor social skills, because
they're just different social skills.
Yes, because there are a lot of things that I think are good social skills, and I don't like when someone doesn't do it in a conversation that most people would consider my style like rude or whatever. But yeah, so it's just a difference of opinion. And so I don't like acting like anything outside of neurotypical communication is like wrong or reduced.
It's just a different communication, and that's fine. And I just think, just as we strive to understand the neurotypical can strive to understand us.
I agree. Oh, and another thing that I think adds to us getting bullied more, and this is a studied thing that, neurodivergent kids do get bullied more, about being more I put quote unquote immature than our neurotypical peers. Like on, as a whole, neurodivergent kids do look more like, I don't even want to say immature or delayed, because it's not that. I think what is happening is we keep the joy of childhood and play and creativity alive.
Because we're always seeking dopamine.
Yes.
We're always.
Well, it's not just that. I think I think as a whole we like play more. I think we.
Because it's super fun.
Yeah, I think we hold on to the value of play longer, whereas neurotypical kids feel like it's time, there's a certain time where you have to fall in line, really, of this is how you behave. I remember specifically getting to 6th grade, because you go to a different school here. So we got to middle school, and then it was unacceptable to play at recess. Kids did, all of a sudden, you go from 5th grade to 6th grade, kids don't play at recess. You stand, especially if you're a girl, you stand around in a fucking circle.
Because the guys
and everyone talks. Yeah, because then the boys can play sports. And even though I played
sports with them, that's
I
how
played
you break
sports
an arm.
growing up, but the girls didn't play sports at recess.
No, they all chatted about each other
around in circles. And I wanted to play. I still in 5th grade was bringing my snow pants to recess and playing on the lower playground. And I love to play. And play is so valuable for us as humans, through adulthood. And so I think it's not us that are more immature than our peers. I think it's that we don't fall in line of what's societally expected, you know, until we're kind of bullied into it as we grow up. But I remember being so upset and embarrassed that I wanted to play in the snow at recess.
Yeah.
And that's nope, you don't do that. Makes me sad. Yeah.
So sad.
But yeah, I think that's, another reason why neurodivergent kids are bullied and picked on.
Yeah. Were you ever bullied?
I was low-key bullied, looking back quite a few times. Yeah. There was Desiree in 6th grade. She made fun of me for licking my lips a lot, which I guess I would do as like a stim. I would like lick my lips sometimes, and I didn't even notice I was doing it until she started making fun of me for it.
Yeah.
And that is when my Burt's Bees chapstick addiction started. Because
from
I
a young
replaced,
age.
we talked about this, being embarrassed and shamed about a stim that you have.
Sure.
And so replacing it with a more socially acceptable stim, which is putting chapstick on. Bitch,
It's
that bitch.
all coming back now.
Yep. And then there was...
You've opened me right up.
You've opened me up. Oh, you've opened me up. And then there was Jess. I don't remember specifically what she did. Yeah.
She was mean.
She was really mean. And I remember there was a rumor in 7th grade that she was going to move. And I was so fucking happy. I was like over the moon. And then like a week later, I was like, it's not going to happen. Jess isn't moving. And I cried. I cried that night. I was so upset. She was just like such a bitch. I think I didn't have like, no, I guess I was kind of targeted. I was targeted.
You were
by quite a few different groups.
You had a
growing
lot
up.
of friends, but you were also, I think you had a lot of enemies.
Yes. And that's why I don't necessarily think of myself as like being super bullied growing up, because I always had friends.
Yeah.
I always had, us, our big group of friends.
Yeah.
And so I was never like isolated, but I was bullied like a decent amount. And I always forget that.
Yeah.
And isn't that fun to remember? And my mom, sorry, I do want to hear about your bullying, but real quick, my mom went to the social worker, what is it? The guidance counselor, and said like Grace is being bullied by this group of girls. And the guidance counselor told her, well, she just needs to get a stronger upper lip, a stiff upper lip.
What the fuck?
Like, what the fuck? You're a guidance counselor for middle schoolers, and your advice for bullying
is like,
get a stiff upper lip, like
just
swallow it down.
Yeah.
Swallow it down.
What the fuck? What?
But that's when I think I started becoming a little mean back, because it was like, okay, well, if the guys, if no one's going to stop
in
this,
defense mode.
I guess I'm going to bully Desiree back for having squirrel cheeks, chipmunk cheeks. And I did.
I remember you used to tell her that all the time.
Yeah.
And you used to puff your
my
cheeks out. Yeah.
Yep. And that's when I became a little bit of a bully back, because I had to survive.
Right.
So thanks for that advice, guidance counselor. You really guided me into what I've become today, which is slamming girls on my soccer team in defenses thinking we're joking. Anyways, Kristin, tell me about how you were bullied or not bullied.
Shoot, I just want to say, I think you had a lot more friends and a lot more enemies, and I had less friends and less enemies. I don't think I really had like a sworn enemy.
Yeah, I can't imagine anyone like having a reason to hate you.
Super protective of me, but I'm sure.
Yes. Kill him. But
I think someone tried to make fun of me once, and I just go, what? And they tried to repeat the joke, and I like honestly couldn't hear them. And I was just like, what? What?
Your auditory processing prevented you from being bullied.
For the win. And she's like, just like, never mind. And I was like, all right. And then someone explained it to me later, and I was like, oh, that's really mean.
You were living Can't Be Embarrassed If You're Not Embarrassed before all of us. You know?
I guess so.
If you're oblivious to being embarrassed, you can't be.
Right. I don't know if this is bullying. I think Kim, are you blanking out all these names that we're shouting?
Just don't make it too difficult for me.
I think Kim and I had it wasn't even bullying, because I actually really like her. Maybe it's Stockholm syndrome.
Because she was like kind to you as she
was
was
like
bullying
super
you,
kind
right?
to me, but we had an unwritten, unspoken agreement that whatever chemistry, because this was like in 8th grade, and we had homeroom together, and any math or chemistry homework, she could copy off, and she was nice enough to like change it just enough so it wouldn't look like a copy, and she'd be secretive about it.
That was nice of her. Thoughtful.
Yeah. So I wouldn't get in trouble, and I'm like, shoot, and I would just say Kim would for sure go up to bat for me if someone, because she didn't want to like. She wanted to pass,
Didn't want to lose her nerd.
Yeah, she's got to keep me in a good supply, you know?
Yeah, keep you happy.
Keep my hands uncrushed so I can do my homework, you know?
So she can copy it,
right, exactly. So I think that was like it was like a tit for tat almost, except I don't think anybody was like looking to beat me up.
Yeah, I mean, you had your little protection. Yeah, I'm trying to think of
no one would
what that
go
situation
up against
is.
Kim.
No one would. She was scary.
She was scary, but she was super nice to me.
Yeah.
I think that's all the like bullies were like, well, they were really nice to me.
Yeah, because probably you were too oblivious to be bullied. And also, like, really, I guess...
Oblivious is a good word, because I was very oblivious throughout middle school. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I don't remember you... I don't think we were ever in the same house together in middle school, but I don't remember you
maybe
specifically
Haley and
being bullied.
I don't think we were really bullied. I probably was. I just, like, either blocked it out of my mind or just, like, not embarrassed by it.
Yeah, well, I mean, good for you. Good for you, because that's...
I mean, I wasn't popular.
Well,
that's different.
Popular.
But
what is popular?
Very true.
Popular?
I was not a cool kid.
I think, yeah, I don't think I wanted to be, like, popular so much as I wanted to, like, not be bullied.
That's fair.
You know?
That's fair.
And then I do think as high school hit, I do think I was masking more and more to try and kind of... I feel like I was always kind of like your socially acceptable version of, like, weird, but more like, oh, she's like quirky and kind of cute, you know? But it wasn't like... Now I feel like I'm, like, fucking bizarre. Like, I have dead animals in buckets in my yard. In my parents' yard.
Yeah, we've both gone downhill quite a bit.
I don't think it's downhill. I think it's uphill.
I mean,
I'm glad I'm not trying to fit into this, like, I'm a cute soccer girl and look at me.
Yeah, soccer 88.
I'm a little crude. My humor's a little crude, but I'm a girl.
Yeah, I am also glad that for a very long time I tried to fit into, like, the neurotypical world of, you know, everything is going to be just so, and all your furniture, even in like college, even up until, like, probably COVID. I think COVID really broke. I think I was, like, always a little odd.
Yes.
But you
hit it well.
And then COVID hit and I was like, fuck this.
Oh yeah, I've turned into a gremlin
just, like,
since
a monster
COVID, and
now.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
Creature of the night.
Right. But I think Christopher's helped with that, because boy, oh boy, is he
a creature of the night.
Yeah, he's an indoor creature of the night.
Yes, he is. Yeah, that is helpful. He really does embrace his weirdness.
He embraces his weirdness and supports my weirdness, and that's all I'm looking for.
And that's all I've ever wanted for you in a partner, is someone that will appreciate your weirdness.
Yeah, that's all I needed.
And here he is.
Here he is in the flesh.
So much flesh.
Not that much flesh. Just a little bit of flesh.
Yeah. Not as much flesh as you with all your skin, all your excess skin.
I do have a lot of excess skin.
You got a lot of skin. Hypermobility. That should be another ADHD topic or ADHD-adjacent topic that we cover at some point.
I would love to cover it at some point.
Yeah. All right. I think that's good. I think that's our bagel bite.
That's a solid bagel bite.
Yeah. We don't really have any advice for you.
Yeah.
I
hope you're not embarrassed, and I hope you're not bullied. But if you are, let us know at weirdasfeather@gmail.com. Tell us about your childhood bullies. Or were you a bully? Oh my God, if you were a bully, I want to know about this.
And was it a me situation where it's like you were bullied and told, well, essentially get a stiff upper lips, and then you fucking did, and then you became a little bit of a bully, but a justified bully. I feel like I was a justified bully.
Or do you have any, like, juicy middle school trauma? Because I would love to hear about that.
Fun trauma. Remember, keep it light.
Keep it light. Fun. Yeah, not too deep. Okay, keep it light. Keep it tight.
Yeah. Or of middle school scandals. I feel like is another good one. Like, remember Lacey?
Oh yeah,
and how
Lacey.
She was, like, pregnant, quote unquote.
Quote pregnant, but she really wasn't.
Yes. Ooh, yeah. So, like, fun middle school trauma and fun middle school scandals is what we want from you.
Yep.
Because that's fun. Of, like, this was the biggest deal in middle school. You know.
Yep.
I think those are funny.
Yeah. Maybe we'll share them back. Maybe we won't.
Maybe.
Love to hear about that. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please reach out to us at weirdasfeather@gmail.com. Tell us all about yourself and your trauma and your bullies.
Yep.
You can also, if you would like, give us a 5-star rating on all of the places where you get your podcasts. We would love a review. We do take other star ratings. We either take 5 stars or 1 stars, but if you have a 1-star review for us, you must leave a review. That is the rule. I didn't make it up. It's just the rule. So you just have to abide by the rules.
Just the rule. Tell us what you hate about us.
Yeah. You can nut up to that one. And you can find us on Instagram, kind of on TikTok. Most importantly, you can find us on our Facebook group where there's lots of discussions. And I'm sure there'll be some about childhood bullies, and that will be great.
Yeah. We'll all enjoy your bully stories.
Yep.
And I think that's it. Also, I also just had a real strong memory of the first time I was for real bullied in 5th grade, where Mary Kate had a sleepover party, and she invited every single girl in the class except me.
That is real, girl. That's traumatizing.
I don't know why I didn't think of that as my very first one, because that one truly lives in my brain as the first time I was like truly bullied.
Mary Kate. How could you?
But then everyone had a terrible time at her sleepover, and they ended up crying in the bathroom. Like, I think Bianca like locked herself crying in the bathroom, and all the girls, I think, all fought or something happened, and they all ended up crying. And some had to be picked up by their parents. So like, fuck you, Mary Kate. I'm glad your birthday party was ruined.
That's really sad.
Anyways, just had to sneak that little last bit in there.
Gotta sneak them in.
Gotta sneak it in.
And now we're ending the show.
And now the Bagel Bite is done.
Yeah, we're done.
All right.
Like, subscribe.
Yeah, all right.
Emails, all the socials.
Yes, you said that. Yeah, you said
Let's
it
spark it
already.
out.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.